Welcome everyone, welcome to this week's yoga session. Today we're going to be looking at our respiratory system, our breathing system. And over the next few weeks we're going to be looking at lots of different systems in the body. So we're going to look at the digestive system, the musculoskeletal system. And I just wanted to point out, even though we're going to be looking at all these systems separately, they all kind of work together. They don't actually work separately. They need each other to work. So for instance, today we're looking at the respiratory system, our breathing system, and that's to do with we breathe in oxygen and breathing out carbon dioxide. But the body, the respiratory system, needs a circulatory system, which is the blood flowing around our body. That's the circulatory system. The respiratory system needs the assistance of the circulatory system to get the oxygen to all the places it needs to go to in the body and to pick up the carbon dioxide and take it back. So without the blood, the respiratory system wouldn't really work. Okay, so all animals need oxygen to live, and oxygen is in the air all around us, although we can't really see it. And we breathe it in we use the oxygen to kind of process our food and turn it into energy. And when this process happens, as we turn our food into energy, we produce something called carbon dioxide, and that's what's carried out of the body, and that's what we breathe out. And the main parts of our breathing system, main components of our breathing system, are our nose, our throat, which is also called our pharynx, our voice box, also called our larynx. I always like to think of them as like Doctor Seuss characters, our pharynx and our larynx, and our windpipe, our trachea, I'm not sure how to say it, trachea, and the windpipe goes down into our lungs. And then the main muscle that we use for breathing is our sort of diaphragm muscle, which is underneath here, underneath our lungs. And as we breathe in, our diaphragm flattens down, and as we breathe out, it kind of domes up. And it keeps a sort of separation between the upper and lower part of our torso. Okay? So let's come and do our 3 breaths with our chime, and we'll come and see if we can notice some of those components of our breathing system as we breathe. And also, just to note, actually, this is another good example of the systems crossing over. So the reason we come and do our breaths at the beginning of class is to just come to sort of center us and calm us. And this is a good example of how the breathing system influences the nervous system. So when we kind of take long breaths out, that brings the calming part of our nervous system online. So we can see how they sort of work together and cross over. So enough talking, let's come and do some breathing. So let's come. We're going to sit up nice and tall so that we have space, our lungs have space in the body to expand. And let's come and listen to the chime and take our breath in, breathing in, and breathing out. Just noticing what you can feel moving in the body. Can you have a sense of the diaphragm? Can you feel your windpipe, pharynx and the larynx? Breathing in and breathing out. And one last time, coming to breathe in and breathing out. Great. Okay, so let's come and warm up the body a little bit, and then we're going to explore some different animals that breathe in interesting ways and come and have a look at our own breath a little bit more. So we're going to come and start by bringing one arm over to the side, opening up a little bit through the side, and we've got all these muscles in between our ribs, our intercostal muscles, and they really assist in our breathing as well. And coming over to the other side, opening the intercostals on the other side and breathing in, breathing into that lung that's being opened here. And then coming over again, we're coming over to the other side, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to let our arm come a little bit forward, okay? And we're going to feel that we're coming into the back of the body. So breathing a little bit into the back of the body, and then we're going to bring the arm a little bit behind us, and here we're opening into the chest a little bit. So feeling that opening into the chest, breathing into the front of the body, and then back to the side. So let's just come do that a few times, breathing into the back, breathing into the front, and coming into the side. And let's come and try that on the other side. And so the right lung is a little bit bigger than the left lung. On the left lung, there's not as much space on the left side because our heart is on the left, so coming to take the arm behind, opening through the chest, at the side. And behind, opening through the chest and to the side. Great. And then let's come and just take a moment to pause and notice how we feel. And then let's come into our cat-cow. Coming to move our spine. Have a sense of the front and the back of the body. So the lungs are in the front and the back of the body. And in fact, in the back of the body, they have a larger capacity. So breathing in. Having a sense of the front and breathing out. Pushing between the shoulder blades. So here we're breathing into the front of the body and then we're breathing out into the back of the body as we come into our cat, our angry cat. Let's just come to neutral. Let's try and change the breathing around now. So let's breathe in, and as we breathe out, we're going to come into our cow. So breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in to the back of the body. And breathing out. Breathing in. Noticing if it feels different. Coming to a neutral spine. Okay, from here, we're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to come and just bring our weight back, waking up our toes and our feet a little bit. Then we're going to come and lift up the knees, let the hips come back. We're coming back into our downward dog, just bending and straightening the legs. And we're going to walk forward. Come to be in our forward fold for a moment. Just letting ourselves hang here for a moment. You can maybe move gently from side to side, holding onto your elbows. And then we're going to come and just roll all the way up to standing. We're going to come and do our sun salutation. So our sun salutation is a sort of moving practice, but we really also focus on the breath. So we breathe in at certain points and breathe out at certain points. So coming to notice how that feels. We're going to come and slow down and really sort of focus a little bit on our breathing as we move. And the breathing, being able to breathe, being able to breathe smoothly really sort of helps us to move. And in yoga, we kind of use the breath as a bit of a tool as well. So if we're in a pose and we really can't breathe, so if I'm doing something like this and I can't breathe, I've maybe gone a little bit too far and I need to kind of just back off a little bit or be a little bit more gentle. So if you're ever in a pose in yoga and you find that you can't breathe, you're struggling to breathe, then you've gone a bit too far. So we always want to be able to breathe smoothly and deeply, whatever we're doing in our yoga practice. Okay, so let's come, starting in our mountain. We're going to breathe in, breathe out, bring the hands in front of the chest. Breathing in, bringing our arms up. Breathing out, we're going to come to bring the hands together and fold forwards. Breathing in, we're going to step back with the right foot. And then we're going to hold our breath as we come into our plank. Pushing out through the heels, shoulders over wrists. Breathing out, we're going to lower the knees and lower the body down. And we're coming into our baby cobra. So breathing in, tops of the feet stay on the ground. Breathing out, we're going to come down, push back. Take a breath in here in our child pose. And breathe out, come into our downward dog. And we'll take a breath here. Just come and walk our dog out a little bit. Next time we're breathing in, we're going to step forward with our right foot. And breathing out, we're going to bring our left foot to meet. Breathing in, we're going to take our arms out wide, like we're gathering air and energy, bringing that down into the body, breathing out. Okay. Coming to notice how you feel. Nice, slow, steady breath. So this is really good for keeping us nice and calm. Let's come and try that again on the other side. So breathing in, breathing out, hands in front of the heart. Breathing in, let's bring our arms up. Breathing out, we're going to fold forwards. Breathing in, we're going to step back with our left foot. And then we're going to hold the breath as we come into our plank. Breathing out, we're going to lower the knees, lower the body, keeping the tops of the feet grounded. We're lifting the hands in our baby cobra, breathing in. And breathing out, we're going to come back into our child pose. Taking a breath in here. And breathing out, we're going to come up into our downward dog. Again, just having a breath here as we pad through the feet. We're just coming to wake up the body. Next breath in, we're going to step forward with our left foot. And breath out, the right foot comes to meet it. Breathing in, we're going to take the arms out wide, circling up as we're gathering those whatever good things you want to bring down into your body. Breathing out. Coming to take a moment to stand in your mountain and just notice how you're feeling. So sometimes after doing movement, we use more oxygen and we can become a bit short of breath. We were doing quite a slow movement there. We weren't moving too fast, so maybe we're feeling okay. But a really nice calming breath we can do is the tracing our finger, the tracing finger breath. So we breathe in as the finger moves up, and we breathe out as it moves down. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in and breathing out. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. So also important to say, I should have said it at the beginning, you would maybe go your own speed. So it's important, we do want to kind of try and keep the breath sort of slow and smooth, but it's important that it's comfortable for your body. So you don't want to be doing it so slow that it becomes quite strained, and you don't want to be doing it too fast that you're not kind of trying to slow it down at all either. So finding that balance that feels comfortable for your body. Okay, so we're going to come and do our tree pose now, because probably all of you know that trees and plants create oxygen. So oxygen is their out-breath, and their in-breath is carbon dioxide. So we have this connection to trees and plants. We kind of create each other's in-breath, which I think is really quite lovely. As you can see, I've got lots of plants around me, and they do, I sort of have lots of plants in my home to try and keep the air nice and fresh, and because I love having the plants. But it can be quite nice to go and find a tree and to go come into your tree pose. So let's come into our tree pose and just come to breathe with the tree and have the sense that you're breathing in the tree being's out breath, and the tree is breathing in your out breath, and you're connecting through your breath. So one leg is going to be our tree trunk. We're going to come to our ankle, our shin, our calf or our thigh. Remember, we don't want to be on our knee. Okay, so we're going to find where we want to balance. Maybe finding something that's not moving to help us balance. Remember, you can always hold on to something. Let's come and do a breathing tree. So let's breathe in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. As we breathe out, we create an in-breath for the trees. Breathing in, we're breathing in the oxygen that the trees produce and the plants, and breathing out, we're creating something for them to breathe. So let's bring our hands back together and come and try the other side. So just again deciding where you're going to kind of have your foot, and just having this sense. You can have this sense as well of envisaging your standing leg as a tree trunk, maybe imagining roots going down into the earth, feeling like you're a tree, or just feeling like you're connected to a tree. So finding your balance, finding your stillness, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And if you need to hold on to something, you can just do this, just breathing in. So you don't have to move your arms. You can still just breathe in. Oh, and be wobbly and breathe out. Great. Bringing your foot down. So a lot of the time when we're breathing through the nose. And notice when we talked about the main components of the breathing system, I didn't mention the mouth. Okay, so the nose, we want to breathe through the nose as much as we can. So the nose is much better for us for breathing through than the mouth. The nose moistens the air, so it keeps it nice and damp. It warms it up, so it's preparing the air for our lungs. So it makes it a little bit damp, warms it up, and it also filters the air. So we have lots of little tiny hairs on the inside of our nostrils that filter lots of particles out of the breath, so it cleans the air. And then we also have this gas in our nose is called nitric oxide. When we breathe in, nitric oxide gets mixed in, and it's antiviral, so again it kind of helps to protect us by breathing through the mouth, through the nose. The mouth is really just for emergencies, okay? When we breathe through the mouth, we're breathing in cold, dry air. It's not so good for the lungs. It's full of unfiltered particles which can irritate the lungs. So the mouth is really just there for emergencies. So we want to breathe through our nose as much as we can. And interestingly enough, there's one animal that can only breathe through its nose. It's a horse. Let's take our feet nice and wide. We're going to come into our horse stance. So horses can't breathe through their mouths, not even in an emergency. Let's come and sit down into our horse stance. So we're taking our feet nice and wide, really feeling the muscles in the legs working. From here, we're going to breathe in through our noses and breathe out. We're going to come and sit back down into our saddles. Maybe you want to imagine you've got some reins and you can just be moving up and down, feeling the feet connecting down, breathing in and out through your nose. Breathing in, and one more time, lowering down, really feeling the muscles in your legs working. Okay, and then let's come and bring our feet in, and we're going to come take them just a little bit wider, and we're going to come down through our squat now. We're going to go all the way down, take our hands behind us and come down to seated. So another animal that has an interesting breathing abilities, I suppose, are marine mammals. So marine mammals are animals like dolphins and whales and seals, and animals that can kind of go under the water and hold their breath for a really long time. So a sperm whale, one breath for a sperm whale can last up to 138 minutes. That's over 2 hours. You can go underwater for over 2 hours on just one breath. That's pretty good, isn't it? So let's come and do our whale pose. So for our whale pose, we're going to come into a tabletop. So we've got our feet flat down on the ground. Now our hands, I like to have my fingers facing towards the toes. Some people prefer to have them out sideways, some people behind them. You can come and try. Notice what feels most stable, most comfortable for your body, okay? You can try out all of them and then go with the one that feels most comfortable for your body, okay? So we're going to breathe in, and as we breathe out, we're going to imagine that our kind of navel center is where like our blowhole is for the whale, and we're going to breathe out through there. We are just going to really be breathing in and out through our noses, but just have envisaged that. Breathing in, breathing out, lifting up, breathing in here and breathing out. Let's come and lower down. So the human world record holder is a Danish freediver, and he was able to hold his breath underwater for 22 minutes. That's the world record. It's a pretty long time as well. Let's come and do that one more time, our whale pose, and this time we're going to extend our legs out as well. So breathing in, breathing out, lifting up. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's do the other leg. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and lowering down. So, whales can hold their breath for a really long time. Now, another animal, a salamander, doesn't have any lungs at all. So, from having really lungs with great capacity, we're going to no lungs at all. So let's come to our lizard pose. Salamander is a type of lizard and it has no lungs. It breathes through its skin. So let's come and step back into our plank position. We've got our shoulders over our wrists, pushing out through our heels. So we're keeping ourselves nice and strong here. We're just going to come and lift up one knee, and then we're going to come and lift up the other knee. We're going to do that one more time. So no lungs at all. One more time there, and then we're going to come and lower our knees. So we're lowering down to our belly because we're coming to our snake pose. Now snakes, you can make a little pillow with your hands here. As you can imagine, snakes' internal organs are kind of quite long and thin, a little bit like the shape of their bodies. And snakes actually only have one working lung. So they did have two lungs, but one of them has kind of shriveled up to being mainly, doesn't really work. So they just have one working lung. So from our great lungs of the whale. We're going to no lungs of the salamander, and now we've got one lung with our cobra. So let's come and keep our tops of our feet connected down to the ground, and also the front of our hips, okay? We don't want these to lift. You can take the hands quite wide. We're going to come into our waving cobra, having a sense of drawing back. Okay, so we're engaging the muscles in the upper back here. Breathing in and breathing out, coming down. Actually letting the head be heavy, and as you breathe in, the head comes up last and breathing out. So just noticing what we don't want to be doing is pushing into our shoulders here, and our shoulders coming up to our ears just to push ourselves up. So even if we don't come up very high, we want to engage the muscles on our back, breathing in and breathing out. Well done. Coming to make a pillow with your hands and just take a little rest, moving your hips from side to side. So one lung. So what are we going to next? We're going to actually, this is quite amazing, fish. So as we know, fish, let's bring our hands under our shoulders. Fish have gills, which are kind of a fish version of lungs that help them breathe underwater. But there's one fish, and it's got a very appropriate name. It's called the lungfish, and this fish has gills and lungs. So it can breathe underwater, but if the water all dries up, it can breathe on land as well, because it's got lungs. So let's come and do our fish pose, and we're going to do our lungfish pose. So for this, we're going to come and place our hands underneath our bottoms really. Our hands are going to be in this position. So we've got our sort of thumbs together, and we're going to be lying on the tops of our hands. So let's come to lower down. We'll put our hands underneath our bottoms, and you can feel the thumbs sort of touching, the fingers are spread. Let your legs come out. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to push into our hands and into our lower arms. So you can see I'm coming up onto my elbows. Okay, so just making sure you feel comfortable and stable, and that your weight is being supported by your lower arms. So you can push into your elbows, your lower arms, and you can feel that. So from here, we can keep our chin tucked, or if you're comfortable to do so, you can have a go. We can start to bring our head back. So we're coming to bring the crown of our head towards the floor, right? But we don't want to put all the weight of our head through the crown of our head. We just want to touch it lightly onto the floor. We're supporting the weight with our lower arms, okay? So really important that you don't put the weight all the way through your head. You're supporting the weight with your arms. So let's come and we can come to bring our head down. And here we're really opening our lungs, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, lifting up, and tuck our chin in, and then just come to lower down and take our arms out, and just take a moment to rest and notice how the body feels. So it's always good to pause when we've done any kind of new movement. When we pause in between the movement, it helps our body to kind of process what we've been doing. Helps the body to understand the movement. So let's come and bring our feet flat on the ground and let the knees come over, top hand coming down. So we've talked loads about kind of amazing animal breathing systems. Let's come a little bit back to our own. So within the lungs, we've got the windpipe going down, and that turns into the bronchi, again, not sure how to say it, go into the lungs, and then they turn into smaller tubes called the bronchioles, which are kind of like little tree branches, and at the end of the bronchioles are the alveoli, or I call them alveoli, and I think of them a little bit like ravioli. They rhyme with ravioli, alveoli or alveoli. And these little sacs at the ends of the bronchioles are where the gas exchange happens. So it's where the oxygen gets picked up and carried around to the body, to the different tissues that need the oxygen by the blood, and where the carbon dioxide gets dropped off. Okay, and we're going to also just have a notice a little bit more of our diaphragm. So we spoke about the sort of diaphragm muscle at the beginning. It's a kind of main breathing muscle. So let's just come and have a sense of that. When we breathe in, it's like a dome-shaped muscle, and it goes kind of separates the upper and lower part of the body. So above the diaphragm, we've got the lungs and the heart and the respiratory system, and below the diaphragm, we've got our kind of digestive system, our intestines, our liver, our kidneys, all our other organs below the diaphragm. And so when we breathe in, The diaphragm flattens down, and when we breathe out, it domes up. And it's really quite a powerful muscle. So just having a sense. So when we breathe in and our bellies expand, it's not that we're actually breathing any air into our bellies, because our lungs only come down to here. The air doesn't actually come into our bellies, but the diaphragm pushes down, and it changes the space in our belly. So it's kind of like a shape changer. So the diaphragm changes the shape of the belly, and that's why the belly has to push out, because there's less room when we breathe in, and the lungs push down lower, the diaphragm pushes down, and when we breathe out, the shape changes again within our body's cavity there. Okay, so let's come and do a couple of poses where we can sort of really have a sense of our breath in our body. So first we're going to come and find a lunge. So let's come up to kneeling. We're going to take 1 foot forward and just come to make sure that you feel stable. So you just want to make sure you've got kind of a stable base. You might have to take your foot out a little bit or have it facing out to the side. We're going to take our hands behind us and we're just going to open a little bit through the chest. Taking a breath there. So we feel a little stretch here in our hip flexor. Let's come and change legs. Taking the other foot forward and having this sense that we're drawing up a little bit through the pelvis. Taking the hands behind us. Breathing and opening into the chest. Okay. And we're going to come and do this release, and we're going to come and do a pose called Camel Pose now. So there's a little bit of preparation for camel. So for camel, we're going to come and tuck our toes. If you haven't got a mat, you're on your knees, you can always come and put some padding underneath your knees if it feels a little bit sore on your knees. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hands to our lower back here, just above our sacrum, or either side of our sacrum, really, just to kind of support us as we open up through the chest. So important, what we don't want to do is we don't want to just come forward with our hips and our belly. We want to have this sense of lengthening up and opening through the chest, okay? So let's breathe in, keeping the toes tucked, breathing in and breathing out, opening through the chest. Now again here, you can let your head come back if it feels okay to do so. I prefer to keep my chin tucked, just taking a breath here and then coming back to straight. Just noticing it creates quite a lot of heat in the body, it does in my body anyhow, and it's quite energizing, camel pose. Let's come and do it one more time. So we've got an option now, you can come and do this again where we're lengthening and then just opening through the chest. If that was if that felt quite challenging, just coming to do that again is really good. Otherwise you can also come and try something else. What we're going to do, keeping the toes tucked, we're going to breathe in, and again we're going to lengthen, opening through the chest. And if it's available, we can take our hand to the heel, the other hand to the heel. Again, you can keep your chin tucked in, or you can let your head come back, having this sense of opening through the chest, breathing into the lungs. Okay, and then bringing the chin back in, bringing one arm up and the other, coming down to rest. Now, we tend to be a little bit frontist, which means we always kind of, because our eyes face forward, we always sort of seem to give more attention to the front of the body. But actually, the back of the body is, especially in regards to the lungs, the back body has more capacity. The lungs have more space in the back of the body to expand. So we're going to come and do a child's pose now, and we're going to really come and focus our breath into the back of the body and see if we can feel the back ribs moving as we come and lie forward. Let your forehead come to the mat, so your hands can be by your side, and we're just going to come and breathe into the back of the body. Feeling your lungs expanding on your back ribs. Great. And then gently coming up. And I hope you enjoyed that little exploration of our respiratory system. We're going to come and do our little sort of final rest now. So if you need to get a blanket or anything to keep yourself comfortable, we're going to come and also, whilst we're doing our rest, we're going to do something called our peace breath. So I usually do this sitting up, but I think we can try it lying down. I think it should be fine. I'll just let you know what it is. What we do is we breathe in, and as we breathe out, we say the word peace. It's really softly there, so you won't be able to hear me say it. I just sort of say peace, in kind of like a really soft whisper, like it's like the breath is just a little wisp of air that's kind of a peaceful wisp of air that's just leaving your body. So it's like a peace. And the first time we're going to sort of send peace to ourselves, and then we send peace to other people and the world. Sounds a bit like you're saying peas sometimes. You can send yourself peas if you want to, or you can send yourself some peas. So let's come and lie down, and I'll say the peace thing a little bit louder so you've got an idea. Let's come and lower ourselves down, finding our comfortable Shavasana pose. And for this, for the peace breath bit, I'd like you to try and be on your backs, okay? And then if you want to move onto your side for the final bit of rest, you can. But otherwise, we're just lying down, letting go, having a sense of allowing the body to come to rest now. Again, we're sort of allowing the body to process a lot of what we've done, movement-wise. Then we're going to breathe in through the nose. We're going to breathe out. We're going to softly say, sending peace to yourself. Allowing the eyes perhaps to be gently closed. Let's send ourselves a little bit more peace. Breathing in, sending peace all to the whole of your body. And breathing in, we're going to maybe think of our families and our friends, and we're going to send peace to all of them. So just breathing in. Take another breath in, and we're going to send peace now to everyone in the world. So we're going to go from our families to everyone in the world. Breathing in, sending peace to the whole world. Let's maybe do that one more time. Peace to the whole of the world. Breathing in. Notice how you feel. Maybe you feel quite peaceful. Just allowing that peaceful feeling to settle, to stay. Just enjoying that sense of peace, of softness. Maybe just sending a little bit of gratitude to your respiratory system. This amazing system in our body that enables us to turn food into energy and to do so much more. We could do a lot more about breathing, and we will do at different times, but just coming to be grateful for our breath, this amazing tool that we have with us all the time. And coming to bring a little bit of movement to your fingers and your toes. You can stretch your arms behind you. Come and wiggle a little bit. Bring your knees into your chest. Sending some love to the whole of your being. Bringing your feet down flat, letting your knees come over to one side. Your top arm comes down. Coming to find your seat, coming to notice how you feel after that short practice. I'm hoping you feel peaceful and full of lightness. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Let's come and bring our hands together in front of our chest. We're going to bow to each other. Namaste. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and I look forward to seeing you next week for the next session. Take care, everyone. Bye.